Oh, hey buddy, it's your old pal Scott, and this is Let's Talk Tabletop. Recently, I had a video on what is the point behind competitive gaming, and I legitimately wanted to know. Well, some people took issue with this, and I got an email at letstalktabletopscott@gmail.com, which you should feel free to email me if you have questions or comments. And Roger emailed me, and he said that I took a very biased stance on competitive gaming. He said I should turn the tables and prove my existence as a casual gamer. What is the purpose of casual gaming? So, let's dive into it. Now, today's video is brought to you by my latest release in the Brutality Skirmish family of games. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad on this. It's Brutal Epic. It's mechs, kaijus, and superheroes. It's 6mm and it's also 28mm in the same book using the same core rules. So, get yourself a copy at brutalityskirmishwargame.com, and thank you, me, for supporting the channel. Alright, well, with all of these things, you know it's kind of muddy water because there are such things as fluff gamers that only do narrative. There's casual gamers that can be competitive or cannot be competitive, or maybe they're just not very good. They don't take the meta very seriously. There is a spectrum, just like with competitive gamers, there is a spectrum of casual gamers. I myself, I would say I am a fluff player, and in other words, even though I'm not much into the lore of Warhammer or whatever game I'm playing, I do like telling a story. And I'm going to explain casual gaming for Roger and why I like it. So, Roger, the reason why I like casual gaming is because even though I'm trying to make the best decisions on the tabletop, and even though I am trying to defeat my opponent, I will try to fudge the game so that it's close. And if I fudge it a little too far and I lose, that's really no big deal, because I'm glad my opponent had a good time. For me, it's a much more social issue. I want my opponent to be challenged by me, but also not be stomped on the first turn. I don't want that. Nobody likes that. We've all been in games where the writing was on the wall on turn 1. You got alpha striked, and then you get to sit there for the next 2 to 3 hours and just get punched repeatedly in the face. And that's not fun. And I am not about to do that to one of my opponents. So, I will, if I see myself winning by a decent margin, I'll start pulling back. I'll start making some suboptimal decisions and things like that. And I know for competitive players, you're probably going, why on earth would you do that? Are you trying to win, or are you not trying to win? Well, admittedly, I am trying to win, but it's not super important to me. So my biggest goal is that me and my opponent both have fun. And in my opinion, do you know what fun is? Fun is when the game tells a story. Oh, I'm infiltrating this area. Oh, I'm trying to collect data. Oh, you're defending your base from my ambush. Those sort of things that tell a story. And that's why I enjoy when the dice tell a story as well. Also, I want a close game. I want it to be close. So if I'm just stomping them, I'm going to start pulling back a little bit so they can catch up. And then I go, oh, internally. I say, oh, can I get out of this situation I've caused for myself? Because I was winning by 10 points, and now I'm only winning by 2. Or maybe I went a little overboard with my fudging, and now they're winning. Can I bring it back in time by the end of the game? And that's essentially what I do almost every single game. Unless, of course, they're beating the crap out of me from the get-go, and then I'm trying my hardest. But the point is that I care that we tell a story, and we have fun, and we both kind of detach from the game. It's not me versus them, per se, okay? When you focus on the narrative of a game, you're really talking about, okay, we're watching a movie here. My forces are going to do such and such versus your forces. Let's see if your forces can defeat me or my forces defeat you. But it is not me versus you. Even though, yes, we're making the decisions, and yes, we're trying to win. It's not just completely rolling dice for no reason. But as long as we're both having fun, we're telling the story, and it's a casual game, I'm happy. That's what I'm happy about. I could lose every single one of my games, and frequently I do, because I kind of fudge it a little too far often. Or, you think it's going more in your favor, and then even if you fudge it a little bit, had you not fudged it earlier in the game, you would have won. And then you kind of see that extrapolation, but it's fine as long as my opponent has fun. And I think I'm pretty well known for people enjoying playing me. I have people at my gaming club that request to play me because, oh, we always have a good game with you, Scott. Little do they know, I oftentimes will fudge things so to ensure that we have a good game. I'm not just going to stomp you. And there have actually been people that I've kicked out of my gaming group because they would not take the hint. They would stomp actual children, 10, 14 years old, and they would stomp them, and then the next game they play together, they would stomp them again, and the next game they would stomp them again, and clearly the child is not having fun. I know this is supposed to be me versus you. I know you're supposed to win, and I do try to win. But if I look over there, I'm winning by a large margin, you've got nobody left on the field, and you've got a sour face, you're folding your arms, I'm not going to have fun, because I want us both to have fun. For me, it has always been a social thing. It's not been, oh, I'm going to try to beat you. I will, but I'm going to low-key try to beat you. I'm not going to try to beat you. Like, list building is a big part of this. If you take a very optimal list, you're already in a better footing than someone that didn't take an optimal list. So that means that you're really trying hard to win. It doesn't mean you can't pump the brakes, because I know a lot of competitive players like my friend Andrew, my friend Eric, if they're winning real badly, they're going to pump the brakes, slow down, they're going to do the same exact thing I do. I don't know what you would call that. It's not necessarily a fluff player. It's not necessarily a casual. I don't know what you'd call that. It's more of a social, we want to tell a story and have fun sort of thing, almost role-playing, where everyone in a role-playing game, you want to have fun. You don't want to just total party kill your entire party if you're the DM. You want them to have fun, right? So you want them to be challenged and things like that. So I know that it may seem strange that in a competitive game where you make a list specifically to beat your opponent, and they make a list to beat you, and you're rolling dice against each other, and you're head-to-head mentally, and you're trying to strategize to beat them, and optimize your abilities and all of that, it may seem counterintuitive that you would ever pump the brakes on your shenanigans on the board. But I'm telling you right now, my track record, a lot of people like to play me, and I can only talk anecdotally. Now, you in the comments, if casual gaming means something different to you, please chime in. But for me, it's mostly a social experience, and strategy and narrative are also a second for that. But mostly, I want everyone to have fun. And you know what? That's actually how you get new players. That's how you demo for new people and get people in your community. That's how you grow your community. That is how you support the hobby and the industry, and that is how you will see more and more people join it. I can't tell you how many people I have seen run a demo for a new person and absolutely crush them into the ground on a demo, and then the other person never comes back. Do you know my friend James? My friend James, the first time when Age of Sigmar came out, he did a demo with a pretty competitive player in Age of Sigmar, and he got absolutely crushed. And it was a good, 2 years before James ever gave it another go, because he was like, this game's no fun. And James is just like me. We're cut from the same cloth. He wants to have a fun, yet strategic game. And I'm the same way. Now, admittedly, I wouldn't have just gave up on it after one bad game, knowing who that player was. But, people see things differently. So if you want to grow your community, and you want to grow your group or whatever and have people to play with, you need to foment a friendly and accepting atmosphere. That's what you got to do. It's no different from going to any other club or a sports team or anything else where everybody's snobbish and they're aloof and they're not friendly and they're not inclusive of you. I mean, it's just no fun, right? I've been to those game stores. I have been to those gaming stores where you walk in and everybody was previously talking, and all of a sudden it gets quiet. And everyone stares at you. Like you've entered, like you're some sort of stranger inside the store. No, you don't want that. You want them to walk in and everyone goes, oh, hey, how's it going? And if I ever see, I run our local gaming club. If I ever see somebody walk up to our tables and kind of just quietly watch for a minute, I go, hey, do you play Warhammer? Do you play wargaming? Oh, do you know miniatures and painting? Are you into that hobby? I start talking to them and they immediately feel welcomed. Matter of fact, at my convention, I will go out of my way to see someone that's maybe a little introverted, a little, loner, whatever, sitting in the corner by themselves. I will actively see them and go over there and engage them. Now, some people might find that a little annoying if they really want to be, not social. But honestly, I've never picked up on that. I've never picked up on that. People, all of a sudden, their faces light up, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, the tension is broken because someone spoke to me. I was a little too uncomfortable to talk to anybody else. So what I'm saying is, I'm diverging a little bit from the topic. For me, it's social. And I think that's the best, most wholesome way you can support the hobby, is to be friendly and to make sure you have good games. And that's casual gaming for me. It may not be for you. Let me know in the comments. And thank you. This week is brought to you by a brand new Patreon patron, Davich. Davich. Davik. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Davich, for supporting the channel and becoming a buddy. I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll see you next week, and please let me know, does this make any sense?